Nice TV, Moshie Wagekeno.
Yes, mwiroreri wakwa wa ceceni ya Nice TV nĩ cikihandĩte wega thaa 11. Mahinda marĩa ngĩkwĩraga nĩ thĩinĩ wa ũtukũ wa mohoro tũgakorwo tũgĩthoma maũndũ matiganĩte. Mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ nĩ Valentine edition, nĩ amu mũthenya wa Tuesday arĩa mendaine rĩrĩa makoragwo magĩkũngũĩra tarĩki 14 mweri ũyũ wa February makoragwo magĩkũngũĩra wendo wao na njigua ĩgĩtwo Valentine. Gĩkũnyita ũgeni oro rĩngĩ tukiuma na inyuĩ thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya andũ mũciĩ gatene no rĩu ndagĩcokereria ndĩrĩ Jose Wa Muthoni no ti captain wa Ngoyo. Ririkana kũrĩa nenda-inĩ citũ cia ũkinyanĩria mwena wa Facebook nĩ Nice TV KE, mũciĩ wa gĩkeno Twitter nĩ Nice TV Kenya, Instagram nĩ Nice TV Kenya, kũrĩa mwena wa TikTok Nice TV Kenya. Ririkana no ũkorwo ũkĩrorera tabarĩra citũ kũrĩa application-inĩ ya Nice TV kũrĩa mwena wa Go Live Africa tukĩrĩ live no ũkorwo nakuo ũgĩtwĩrorera mwena wa Signet kũrĩa guothe ũkĩrĩ ngĩhoka nĩ ũratomũkĩra na njĩra ĩrĩa yagĩrĩire. Koguo namba ya ndũmĩrĩri nguhĩ no ũkorwo ũgĩtũtũmĩra ndũmĩrĩri either wĩna kĩũria kana woni waku thĩinĩ wa namba itũ nĩyo gĩbũgũ 777 ũkorwo ũgĩtwĩra we ũratwĩrorera we mwena ũrĩkũ na mwenao. But in the meantime ndĩmwĩraga mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ ndigĩũkaga ndĩika. Mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ nĩtũraga mũndũ ũmwe witũ mũndũ wĩtwo Mr. Japheth akĩmbire kumagara hanini nĩ amu ena tũcuguri tũtiganĩte no nĩtũgakorwo nake kiumia gĩũkĩte. But in the meantime mũndũ wĩtwo Babato na da Jabo. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Gĩkũnyita ũgeni gũkũ gwa ceceni ya Nice TV. Gĩithia mwĩroreri no mwĩre marĩtwa maku.
Mwĩroreri nĩ ndakũgeithia marĩtwa makwa njĩtagwo EMMANUEL CHEGE kana ithe wa Toda. By the way, today is Toda's birthday.
Okay.
So happy birthday Toda again. So I'm glad to be here and it's such a pleasure. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about how it is together.
Yes. You are doing your what is love. Just think it's something kitu tu ina exist. So just define the word love.
Love, the definition of love.
Do you have a definition of love?
Yes, actually.
But it depends na mtu translate
no, love is not just about a feeling, one of the things that we should know. But love is both, yes, a feeling, and love is an action.
Yeah.
So when you say you love somebody, that's an action. And love is also a noun, so it's both a noun and a verb. And which pertains mostly to the way feelings of goodness and affection towards an entity. Yes. But before we can actually say, oh, okay, and this is the one reason as to why I like Greek. Greek is a very complex language, and the reason as to why many people were actually going, like we refer to Greek and all that, it's because in the early ages they were considered to be very learned. And so they tried to look at this word as love, and they came up with actually 8 definitions of love. But I'm going to just touch on a couple of them without like trying to say this is what it is, like the all 8 definitions. One which we actually, everybody knows when they talk about the love of God, that is agape or agapao.
Oh, not agatha. I say agatha.
Agape, which
agatha love.
Yeah, so which comes actually from agapao, and this is the unconditional love. But then we also have philia. This is affectionate love.
Yeah.
Then we have what we call eros. And eros is where we have the word erotic coming from. And so with the word erotic, then it tells you it's about sexual love, or a love that a man will have for a special woman. Then we have philia. And philia is about just like family love, where you say, I can tell my son, I can tell my daughter, I can tell anybody within the family that I love you.
Yep.
That's failure. Then towards that, there is what they say, you can't love anybody else before you love yourself. Not being selfish, but self-love. It's called philaua. So those are different words that pertain to love. But then there is also one more that I would like to touch on.
Okay.
And it's called mania.
Mania.
And that's where we find maniac, where this is obsessive love. So those are the different types of love that we have. And so at different places, at different times, to different people, we get to express these different kinds of love. Yes.
So, nimekuwa nikisikiza some of the people huku nje, they are saying that ati wasichana wanasema they need they need to be taken, like wapewe the first priority. Maybe that first priority nasikia wakisema it's money. What's your take on that?
What do you mean by wapewe first priority money?
Like wanataka, what do you call it? Hiyo jina inapotea. Wakuwe ndio maybe wapewe that connection, mkuwe karibu sana na
Kwa ajili ya pesa.
Yeah.
We need also, tunafaa tufikie mahali ambapo tutatofautisha the difference between love, infatuation, and lust. Where, because in infatuation, nile tu you have that feel good thing, you know. Na unasikia tu nikiona mtu moyo una dunda tu namna ile.
nashtuka.
Umemnoki na nini, huna chochote kingine zaidi ya pale tu, wewe ni ile. And then we have the lust, where it's all about when you hear people talk about, oh, they just used me, or they're using one another. That's lust and not love. And therefore, with many people, again, like with the vast description that I gave about love, let's get to also differentiate where do we get into love and then infatuations and where lust gets to. And then there is that which we know counterfeits. Mtu anaweza kakuletea thao sahi. Maziki ni kingiri, kindovu, umeletewa. And the next thing is this, you go to the shop, unaambiwa mazee hii ina kitu, it is valueless. But somebody can bring you the true thing. Many times we find people, na si wasichana peke yake. We've come to the point where we find that even young men, nimeataka tu mama. Now the only thing that is trying to get them there, it's because they want money. And girls will look at you and they say, if there's no money, I don't see what we're doing. But there is, in true love, then there is that which we need to build on and get to the foundations. Money is something that is required. Yes, but money is not everything. And just like I will say in relationships, and this is marital relationships, it's just like saying, oh, I'm loving her for the sex and all that. But sex is also not everything. Let's say also in marriage. So we need to get to that place that we will be able to say that this is what love is. And you love somebody because of who they are. Before they can, like before you get to the place of this is what they can do for me. Yes.
So there's another question. Nimekuwa nikipata around. Nikawaambia leo tunaongea kuhusu Valentine. So between a girl and a boy, ama a woman and a man, nani anafaa kuleta the ego?
What do you mean by the ego? Because let's
I
divide.
try to understand those questions. Who's supposed to drop the ego? Maybe sometimes.
Who's supposed to go down before the other? One, ego is who you are as a person. Ego is the you in you. And actually, ego means me in Greek again. So when you say ego, you say like I am, ego I me, that's in Greek. And it all is about, says, me. So everybody has their ego. Everybody has that which values you. Your ego tells you about you and the way you see yourself. And therefore you find people's egos differ. So we can never fully say who's supposed to go down. But this is also the foundation I have found like to be the foundation of love, is that we need to understand when I should go down and when I should stand my grounds. And the other person needs to know when to go down and when to stand their ground. But the biggest thing about love is this. You start thinking not about yourself first, but you start thinking about the other person. And these, I'm not just saying about girls, boys, husband, wife, but even with your children. And maybe your siblings and everybody that's around you. You think about love and you go, what is it that am I going to do to make them happy? And when I say love is both a noun and a verb, it is like, what is it that I can do to you that you can feel that special, that you're that special to me? And what is it, and that expression of me making you feel that you're special, then you feel, oh man, I'm valued, I am loved. So who goes down? When I am wrong, be it a woman or a man, when you are wrong, when you disagree, when you're not moving to the same place, then get to understand, how do we come to a place of agreeing in this disagreement? And then become very cautious that you're not the only one that always says, oh, okay, kumbe mindo likoko na makosa. I'm always saying, oh, sorry, nanene. Because then that is where you find people are getting used. And so, who goes down? Whenever you find this is the right time, sitakwambia ati ni wewe sasa when ukiambiwa ati ukifika X ama H, this is the time for you to go down. But anytime you find that you want to find an amicable solution to whatever it is that is making your ego maybe go up beyond the other person, then you need to go down.
So the word I was looking at is attention.
Attention.
So that attention is money to them. So to them, they take it as money, that attention.
Pana wimbo.
So what's the name?
Nyashinsky ameimba wimbo.
Gani?
Jamaa atakutumia, lakini hili mapenzi yake si. Yeye kwake kuna do, lakini I can't remember the proper lyrics. But you will find some people that have the money to spoil a lady. But in the real sense, all they know ni kwamba you are having the money, unatumia, you're chopping money, but in the real sense, you're not having the love that he wants. Now after that, wewe utaondoka. You will have had the money. Yeah, najua amelipa currency yake. But there's somebody else that will love you for who you are. Now will love you just the way you are. And all the attention is this. How are you doing today? Is there anything that's a matter? Hata kama si do, you look as if you're down. Vitu kama vile, kutaka kujua vile wewe ulivyo. So when this is the kind of a thing, money does not count there. No.
So they stop taking attention like money.
Money is not the attention. It's not fully there. Like, it could be an obligation because I would give you money because I feel that you are in need. Na ni kwamba sahi huwezi. But it is not an indicator of how much attention I am giving to you. No.
So kuna swali iliulizwa by one of our editors. Akaniambia fare yake imekuliwa. So akaniuliza anafaa kutuma fare mara ngapi?
Mara ya pili. Ndivyo itaenda tena.
Ndivyo hiyo siku akuje. So akituma fare asinini, asilose hope.
Unajua, tukubaliane jambo moja na hali ya kutuma fare. Kwa wase wote ambao wana watch na kwa kila mmoja ambaye anaangalia, sisi wase ambao tumezoea kutuma fare. ninatuma fare kwa nini? Unajua, tuangalie tu ile ukweli. Ni kwa nini unatuma fare? Je, ameshindwa kuja? Hilo ndilo swali la kwanza. Je, ni kwamba unamlipa ndipo aweze kuja? And therefore anafikiria kwamba ni favor anaifanya kwako? Unaona? Maksudi ya mtu kwenye nia yake na akili zake kulingana na vile anavyosema kwamba anataka kuja, inafaa ijulikane ni nini. Lakini wakati mtu ambapo ninasema ndio, najua times zingine hana, na ameniambia naomba fare nije, nitampa. Lakini imeliwa mara ya kwanza. Sitakutumia. By the way, about 2-3 months ago,
ulituma fare?
Hapana, sikutuma fare. Sikutuma fare, lakini palikuwa na kesi ilikuwa kotini. Na ile kesi ilipokuja, ni kwamba msichana alitumiwa 3,000. Akazimeza. Unaona? Jamaa alikasirika na akaenda kotini. Do you know the judge alipass uamuzi wake na kusema kwamba huyu msichana lazima alipe pesa zote na alipe mpaka fidia ya muda ule ambapo ile pesa ingelikuwa imezaa kiasi gani. So pia kwa dada pia naomba kwamba isiyo ni kwamba utatumiwa fare na wewe umekubaliana, mnajua katika hali ya maongeo yenu mliongea nini, na mara ya mwisho unakosa kwenda. Pale unambugudhi yule, niseme unamfanya kwamba kuwa bwege.
Mtuma fare.
Umemfanya bwege, ni fala kwako. Sasa ukianza kutumia namna ile, pale hamna upendo wowote.
So atumie fare yake, akikuja utarudisha. Hata
si asitumie, ni tukubaliane, manake time zingine si atakosa. Time zingine anayo. Si basi wakati anayo aje. Na mimi pana yale ambayo nitamuandalia, mapochopocho, labda pana kale ambapo tutaenda tuteremshe pamoja namna ile. Vile unajua kwa maana pana starehe zake. So katika hali ile, ukiweza njoo, wakati hauna nitakusaidia. Lakini si kwamba ati nakwambia hivi. Usipotuma hutaniona. Lakini na wewe kwa maana wewe ni fisi, unataka kwamba wacha kwa maana mimi najua ni kipi natarajia pale, basi wacha nitume inaliwa. Manake pale inaonyesha in the real sense that shows that hatile wedo. Hatile wedo.
And that brings me to the long distance relationship. How does it work?
Whoa.
So mtu wako Meru, umemtumia fare ya Meru.
Long distance relationships ni very complicated. One, inategemea commitment yenu. How is your commitment to one another? And what is it that you are holding on to? Okay? And I'm not saying that it is impossible, but it is very hard. Because time, the time that you spend with one another, the time that you are away from one another is such a challenge. So long distance relationships zina challenges mingi. Mtu mwingine, wanaume tuliumbwa, we see. And ladies, and with ladies, wanakuona uko peke yako. Na kama vile umesema labda yako Meru, times zingine anakuja, unaonekana. There is something about women that they see, niko kuna kale, let me see what you are about. Na utachokozwa pia as a guy. Okay? So, long distance relationships, they work if you are there. But we've also seen long distance relationships, even those that are married, mara nyingi zinaenda chini. A couple of weeks ago, I was reading some articles about relationships, long distance relationships, and we see that they were actually encouraged even within families. Mtu alikuwa haoi zamani ni kama kutoka mbali. You were marrying people that were just around you. You see, that other in the neighborhood. Why? Because you know their family properly, this is what they are about and all this. You get to learn people. But now, people travel. Kikazi unakuta mume labda ameenda ama mke ameenda, but the challenges therein, they are so tough. I would encourage. It's better. Na sahi, by the way, most of our girls, wanapenda kuona, hey, mimi staki, I don't want any Kenyan. You don't want any Kenyan, but hujui yule labda mzungu, wanapenda wazungu wa nje. You don't know what that white guy is all about. And so you start that long distance relationships. Many of our girls have suffered hata wakienda kule because baada ya pale yule mtu anatumia kidogo anampeleka kama brother. And this has become, we need to be cautious because this has become part of the human trafficking lines that are taking place within us.
Thank you very much. Ngwihoka mwiroreri wa ceceni ya Nice TV no rathi na mbere na gufuatirira direct itu ya muthenya wa umuthi. Ririkana turagithie thiini wa mabura, ni mabura ma Valentine. Taingira thiini wa uyu ni mweri wa wendo. Koguo turaingira thiini wa kiumia riu kiria gikoragwo gikia wendo muthenya wa keri wa kiumia giki turorete niguo muthenya wa Tuesday tariki 14 riria andu makoragwo magikungwira muthenya wa Valentine na urathi na mbere na gutwariria kuri nenda-ini citu cio kinyaniria muno wa Facebook ni Nice TV KE, muci wa gikeno Twitter Nice TV Kenya, Instagram Nice TV Kenya na kuri mwana wa IG na kuri mwana wa TikTok ni Nice TV Kenya. Ukorwo tutumira ndumiriri mwana ucio na tugukorwo tugicithoma na baita ndumiriri nguhine gifugu mugwanja gifugu imwe mugwanja mugwanja gifugu gifugu igire inya. Tugithi na mbere kuria nenda-ini citu cio kinyaniria ndiramuona mukiingirite na njira iria yagirire mundu gwetwo Samuel Mataiga akiri thiini wa mitambo, mundu gwetwo Geshomo Radio Prince na akiari guku wina mundu kana muthenya wa Tuesday ugakorwo wi wira-ini tugakimenya muthenya ucio tugakiona kana ni ugaposti maundu uria magakorwo makihana. Aha hena kiuria, kuna mtu anauliza things to look out for us to choose out of many, to choose one out of many. Think anauliza,
Yes, how do you
out
get
of
to
them,
choose?
yes, out of them you choose one. Yes, how?
Thank you for that question. By the way, it's a good one. You know who you are as a person.
Yep.
And the first thing that you need to look at is, who is this person? Moyo wake uko vipi? These are the core things. Do they have the same beliefs as you have? Because if, let's say, you are a Christian, this person is a Muslim, there are core beliefs within your own beliefs that are different. So how are you going to bring them together? How are you going to marry them? The Bible talks about do not be equally unyoked with the unbelievers. So what is this? It's easy for somebody who is, let's say, a believer to know what other believers believe in. It is easy, nata kama una feel hizo vitu, but tuseme, this is what they say. You are here and the other person is up here spiritually. So huyu yuko juu, ni rahisi sana kuvutwa chini kushinda wewe kumuinua yule mwingine juu. So these are the matters of the heart. What are their core values? Maybe wewe unasema that I would want to have 3-4 kids. Mwenzako naye anasema mimi sitapata watoto. Unaona? And somebody else is about like, ojeri dhagiyati ya maodo. You know, are they entrepreneurial? And are they ABC about, what is the ABCs about them? So despite that feeling, how am I going to live better even in the future? Because I believe when I go into a relationship, what I'm looking at is that future. Are we going to be able to live together? And this is beyond the children. And you find most of the older people, wanafikaga mahali wanakuwa na kwamba all the kids have gone, and then there is what they suffer from called the emptiness syndrome. The emptiness, all the children are already gone home, they're already in their own places. Now the two of you mmebaki pamoja. If you cannot talk if you cannot discuss anything, and unakuta pale ndo unakuta kama unasikia watu wengine wamezeeka na kwamba mume analala chumba chake, mke analala chumba chake, hakuna mtu anajua, they did not know how to interact with one another. So in the end, they're just two strangers that raise children together and they cannot. So what is it that you are having kule mbele itawaleta pamoja? And therefore I will say this, get a friend. Somebody that you're there and fully, like, you know that this is a friend. Mtacheza, mtazungumza. They will not judge you because sometimes people judge you for the things that you have gone through. But in the end, is this person going to be your friend? What is the vision that you have for life? And then as you look at these things, it helps you get a focus onto what you want in your life partner.
Kuna swali ingine hoka we wakorwo kiuria kiu ni gia gukorwo aja no wakorwo kimeamukira na njira iria yagirire ndugwetwo wini wa kirohe akire thiini wa mitambo na aroria kiuria ki haha aroria what are the signs that shows your partner loved you?
What are the signs?
Zenye zinaonyesha
anakupenda.
Men
and women are different in the way that they show. But the first signs is the way you look at each other. They say the eyes are the windows to your heart or to your soul. And so the first sign is anakuangaliaje. Pana vile unaangalia tu hivi unasikia amekuona mpaka pale kwenye moyo wako. Unaona? And then the physical appearance that's there, you look at it, and those are the initial stages. You start feeling that, and you show it through expression. And those are the non-verbal expressions. And then finally, you gather your courage as a man, alafu unaenda unamwambia unajua nini? Nakupenda. So those are just the initial things, and then be able to talk it out. But na wewe ni ujijue kwanza. Let me say this, Willie, maze ujijue kwanza. Because usipojua kama this is love or infatuation, or you're just lasting after how maze unaona ni dem fulani mnoma, vile ni ile design yako yani unaonaga kama ni wembamba hivyo, unapenda wale wembamba, kama ni wale wanene unawapenda namna ile, labda maumbile yao ni ya pale kati, kwa maana tu umemwona namna ile, uanze kusema ati nimempenda, utapenda hata zaidi ya 30. So start differentiating, get to know yourself first before you can start saying like I'm going for that person, because ukienda kwa wengi bwana utachanganyikiwa.
Wemenye know yourself. Wemenye kirio urakienda hoka no amukire na njira yagirire aja. Mundu gwitwo Stella Nyoro akire thiini wa mitambo akiuga what is the best way to solve relationship problems between two partners?
Conflict resolution. In conflict resolution, do not always, this is the biggest thing, do not always seek to be right. But seek on how you can come to a place of agreeing with one another. I have a coin in my pocket. Let me remove it.
Give it to me.
I'll give it to you. Here. This coin has 3 sides. 1, 2, and 3. You might be looking at this side, and I'm saying on the other side. But as we both look at this, then there is the other side. Am I willing to kikati pande hii maze nasema hii ni picha ya Kenyatta, hii coin ni picha ya Kenyatta, hiyo pande yako is not there because I am not seeing it. But flip that coin, see things from the other person's perspective, and then get to see those middle grounds to agree on. In conflict resolution, you do not seek your own way, because the more you keep on seeking your own way to be combative, this is undo ukweli wangu na sitabadilisha, yule mwingine na ana vile anajua huo ndo ukweli wake. But let's look at this. Je, nikisikia ukweli wako nitajua ukweli wangu unaingiana unaambatanaje na ukweli wako. I always say this. Unaona mtu yoyote hata akafanya makosa. Anybody that does, okay, and everybody gets to be wrong, everybody does mistakes. So the first question that I always ask is this, or say is this: before they got to making that mistake, and unless they were intentional about making that mistake, there was a process that led to the mistake. Excuse me. And in the process of making the mistake, this person had the notion that I am correct and I am right. So in the end inakuja inatokea ya kwamba they are wrong. So can you bring yourself to the place of understanding the process of the other person to the point that they made the mistake? And then as you walk with them, you will understand that. And then are you going to think of yourself in that place, put yourself in that person's shoes, and see how would you have processed it? Challenge each other to seeing how did we think differently? How did we come to making up this mind? I will say this. Now most of the times, even in marriage, most of the conflicts come because unajua wewe umelelewa kwenu. Umefikisha miaka 20 na you've already formed your mind about how people behave and all that. Yule mwingine naye amelelewa kwao and their thinking processes are still the same. So you bring these two people together, this is a recipe for conflict. But when you have a love for each other, and that's, let me go back to Willie, or somebody that asked about je nitajuaje kama ati tunapendana. And you see, when you were coming to think about huyu mtu ananipenda tunapendana, maybe you've come to the place of making the decision that you want to live together, or you love each other enough that you want to build a relationship, then you already start thinking, don't think about only the bubbles that you're feeling, the butterflies in your body that you're feeling, but start thinking about also, what will we do when the conflicts come? How do you deal with conflicts? Because there are people ambao wanapenda kusema hapana makosa ilikuwa ni yako. And there are narcissistic people. The narcissist is one that seeks to bring you down. And as they seek to bring you down, by all means, there is nothing good that you're going to do. So hata ukijaribu kumfanya ati kwamba nilikuwa nikifanya hivi and I'm thinking that I was doing something that is right, then in the end it becomes that you did nothing that is right. And I pray that you do not come close to a narcissistic person, because a narcissistic relationship will only drain you and finish you, kill you. It will bring confusion even in the person that you are. But if it is a relationship that you know you have mutual goals, mutual understandings, mutual, everything that you want to do is together, in togetherness, and you want to build one another, then seek to understand the other person before you can actually be understood. And I hope this comes together, that you will seek to do that and reciprocate that with one another.
Thank you very much. Gwihoka no murathi na mbere na gutwirorera kuria guothe mukire ciuria cianyu turaciamukira na njireria yagirire na tugakena ni maria muragithi na mbere na gukiuria muthenya wa umuthi. Twende mali kwingine. Tall, dark and handsome. So we have the ease of it to separate the nini. We have weight, we have height, we have age. Do they matter in a relationship?
To some extent, yes they do. And every one of us has their own preference. And your preference are not wrong. Maumbile yanatokana na Mungu. Sawa. Para mwingine anataka huyo tall, dark and handsome. Na para mwingine anataka rangi ya dhao. Unaona? Na awe mfupi, awe mwembamba labda, awe mnene. That is personal preference. But what is your heart? What is that person's heart? That is the biggest thing I will encourage people to look at. Sababu, let's think of this. You are with this tall, dark, handsome guy, or rangi ya dhao, maji ya kunde. Umempenda ajabu. Sindio? And then the next thing, after 2, 3 years, 10 years down the road, and you are living in bliss, and everything is working out, then an accident comes. This person is crippled, they are no longer that tall, amechomeka and has scars, they are no longer that dark person. How will you live? So again, it goes back to who they are deep in their hearts. And as you get to know a person's heart, as you get to know how they are endowed on the inside, inakuja inajitoa kwa upande wa nje. Yes.
So tutoke hapo sasa. How long does one have to date ndivyo waingie into marriage?
That's a good one also. There's this guy anaitwa Michael W. Smith. He is a gospel musician. Let it rain. Alimba wimbo kama one some time back. So one of the story that he gives is this. Alikuwa amefika umri wa kuoa. And as he went to the recording studio, this lady comes to the studio. And he was recording. Na yeye alikuwa baada ya kwamba amemaliza recording yake, akawa anatoka. Akakimbia, akapiga simu kwa mama yake. Mama, I just saw the lady that I'm getting married to. Okay? Akaulizwa. Akaambiwa, that's so good. Ni vizuri sana. Manake umemuona, lakini mmeongea na yeye. Akamwambia, hapana, nimemuona tu nikakimbia kwanza nikuambie. Unaona? And they went, after that amepiga simu kwa mama yake, alikimbia tena ndipo sasa akakutana na yule msichana na wakazungumza. Baada ya pale, today they are married for over 20 years. Okay? So that's one way. Kuna wale ambao husema kwamba I will wait for 2 years. Nataka nimjue ndani na nje. A woman is a mysterious being. You hardly get to know her. Na wale ambao wameoa hata kwa zaidi ya miaka 40 watakwambia hivi, that they keep on getting to know their wives. So there is not a better way of saying that this is it. But it is again about how you're coping with one another. What are the values that you have for yourselves together? And how are you growing? How open are you one to another? And as you get to understand these things, then you're able and capable of knowing and feeling in your heart, this is the right way. Na baada ya pale, usitupe muda. Ukijua ni huyu ndiye, amekumeza kabisa, you're drowning in that love, just go for it.
So is there an age that you can't marry? Maybe when you're 45?
Unless it is the legal age that is required, especially in our country, 18. Anything beyond that, you can marry. But understand this, Pierre. Biologically, a man of, let's say, 55, 60, coming to a person ambayo yuko 18, hai ndugu yangu, pia hapo ni pengine. Because we're looking at somebody, are you marrying somebody so that you can get to control them? Or are you marrying a partner that mtakuzana na yeye? You see? But again, I say this, age is but a number. Some people have more numbers and a bigger number, some are small. What is it that you're looking for? Na hii nisiseme kwamba ni machali because wasee wengi ndo wanaoa siku hizi tudogo. But I know of friends who wake wao wamewaacha hata kama miaka 3, miaka 4, hata 5. And to some people, this is like so bad. Oh, ni hiki akatumia wa corona nini. But it is, again, marriage is about the two of you and how you're moving together, what future you're building. Was say this musician in Kenya. He is a young guy. Na akasemekana kwamba ati ameoa mama mzee, but just the other day they celebrated their first year and they look happy and I'm happy for them. So it's not about the age, it's about the vision and the places that you're going together. Do not be afraid of all that. Yes.
So kuna mtu hapa amepigwa na depression ya kuachwa hapa. Nauliza, why do men pursue and then back off? Like then they lose interest after chase. Na mtu amepigwa hapa na
I feel for you. I feel for you. And this is not just about men. It's about the human nature. The human nature is such that itafika mahali. Aone labda hatuendi mahali. Then they decide there's no need for me to go on. And sometimes labda wewe ulijitolea kwa moyo wako wote. You did everything to capture this person. Did they perceive you to be so clingy? Because a man is afraid. The moment anafikiria kwamba huyu dem ananikwamilia sana, inamtia uoga. And because a clingy person, whether it's a man or a woman, a clingy person is dangerous because the next thing that will happen is that they can actually become schizophrenic. Ataanza kukontrol ile, ulikuwa wapi, ulikuwa na nani? Umerudi nyumbani unaulizwa, umanangania, there's a picture juzi niliona. You see, ati Mato amehang nyuma. Sasa hiyo hata anafarisi, unajua vile from Embakasi coming towards Thika Road, on the outer ring. Mse amehang nyuma ya lori, hata ana fare. Amedandia pale nyuma. Yeye ni ile tu mazee amejishikilia tu na anaomba tu kasigonge bump ile ya kwamba nitaanguka. And amechelewa kufika home. But then kule the caption had the wife pande ingine anafikiria sasa vile wale wasichana wako na ni ile tu wanakula raha. A clingy person will say things that are not there. And then you start wondering, where did this come from? Hata imetoka wapi? Akijua mahali ulikuwa, then you wonder. And so this can become very abusive. And men are afraid of such. Sometimes you find like mtu mena, na ndio a woman gets to a place that she looks at her biological clock, imeendelea ikienda, ameenda kagonga 28:30. Na anaona mazee, sasa hapa huyu nikiachilia, wacha tu niingie. But if this guy becomes abusive just because you were afraid that nikiachwa na huyu sitapata mwingine, ama I've invested so much in this relationship, where are you headed as a person? So get to ask yourself these questions. Get to ask yourself these questions before you can actually say, oh, maybe nataka nikwamilie na huyu ama na nini, ama I shouldn't let go. Because in the end, hakuna haja ya mkae mkianza kufikia ati kwamba mmeingia kwenye ndoa, then inakuwa ni vurugu, watoto wenu hawaishi vizuri, wewe mwenyewe umefika mahali umepigwa marisasi ama umepigwa visu, umeaga dunia. Not for love. I forbid that.
Is it okay for a lady to provide financial support? And is it clingy or nagging? What is the difference?
Okay. Being clingy is where a lady is just about, aki, mimi usikwe unaniacha. Ama nataka kila mahali ukienda uko na yeye. Ukiangaliwa na mwingine unasikia umegongwa kekokora kiabaru.